surrounded by his sisters. His father, Louis, and mother, Kathleen, are on the right. In the late 70s, the murder suspect's late grandfather, World War II veteran Nicholas Mangione Sr., and his late grandmother, Mary, started creating a business empire. The grandfather grew up in Baltimore's Little Italy neighborhood. He ended up buying 2 country clubs, started a nursing home company, and bought WCBM Radio, a well-known conservative talk station in Baltimore. Family members also run a family foundation that has nearly $4.5 million in assets.
I keep telling y'all, money don't buy you happiness.
And we're longtime benefits.
You know what? To be honest, most of these companies do that. Most of these companies do that.
This jives with what they found at the crime scene. The bullets and the casings had the words deny, delay, depose. So very early on Wednesday, by about noon, they had recovered those bullets and they saw those words written there. So they knew that it had something to do with a grievance about how insurance companies handle claims. What's surprising here is you have an individual who had means. It was not that he was personally in some fight over trying to get coverage. It was more of his being inspired.
Up YouTube, you click the title, you read the page, so I'm gonna just get to the point. How do I explain this? Because I'm gay. But I have like a little fake crush on them white boys. You know, I ain't gonna lie, I like them white boys. I really do. I'm gay. I'm not blind. I can acknowledge a fine piece of ass. And I got a little crush on some white boys. I say that to say I got a little crush on the dude that popped the CEO. Shout out to CNN. Apparently they looked up a few of his past and his family history. And we about to get all up in his business because shout out to him. I mean, just shout out to him, you know? I mean, like, you know, it's like, I said it before, these companies have to stop looking down on folks.
Says were pages of notes in a spiral-bound notebook made by murder suspect Luigi Mangione, who's now awaiting extradition from Pennsylvania in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. In one passage, again, according to our source who was briefed on the matter, Mangione muses about what could be better than to, quote, kill the CEO at his own bean-counting conference. Now, earlier today, his attorney was asked about Mangione's state of mind at the moment.
I wasn't looking for impressions. What I was trying to do was form a bond with my client. I want him to trust me, and I want him to be confident that I'm here for him.
Yo, is it me? But all lawyers just look like pricks. like lawyers just look like they're just untouchable. Like, I don't give a fuck. Even if they lose the case, they still have this I'm a lawyer look. Like, I don't know. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
And I feel that I'm very pleased how that went.
As we mentioned before the break, some of his friends describe him dropping off the radar recently. We still don't know much about that. We know more, though, about what came
Man, listen, we all off the fucking radar. Y'all better get it together for the he ain't... Let me shut
before, and our Gary Tuckman has that.
The high school valedictorian, Luigi Mangione, graduating from Baltimore's Gilman School in 2016, an exclusive private school.
Parents here today. First off, sending us to Gilman was far from a small financial investment.
Indeed, tuition at the private school was and still is pricey, at almost $38,000 a year today. But murder suspect Mangione had a family with plenty of money.
You see why it's like, let me not say refuse, but you see why I haven't had kids, and I just feel like, well, on top of me being gay, and it takes a little longer, but it's just, I feel like kids are a bad investment, you know? They just said they sent this man to this really nice high school, this really expensive high school, just for this nigga to end up fighting a murder charge? Could you imagine as a parent, you spend all this money for your kid to be the future, nice and bright, and this nigga is currently fighting a murder charge? That is crazy.
Stunned, shocked, couldn't believe it. Not who you would think of at all.
Thomas Moronic Jr. is an attorney who knows the family.
Mangione family is one of the prominent families of Baltimore County. They own a lot of real estate, own golf courses. They're just a very well-respected name.
In this family picture, Luigi Mangione stands third from the left. He is surrounded by his sisters. His father, Louis, and mother, Kathleen, are on the right. In the late 70s, the murder suspect's late grandfather, World War II veteran Nicholas Mangione Sr., and his late grandmother, Mary, started creating a business empire. The grandfather grew up in Baltimore's Little Italy neighborhood. He ended up buying 2 country clubs, started a nursing home company, and bought WCBM Radio, a well-known conservative talk station in Baltimore. Family members also run a family foundation that has nearly $4.5 million in
I keep telling y'all, money don't buy you happiness.
assets, and were longtime benefactors of Loyola University, Maryland. The suspect's father today runs the family business. Attorney Moronic used to be a talk show host at the radio station owned by the family.
Well, they donated money for the pools, the swimming center at Loyola University. It bears their name. That's a huge amount of donating to get that.
One of Luigi Mangione's cousins is a state legislator in Maryland.
I am Delegate Nino Mangione, for the record, District 42A in Baltimore County.
Republican Delegate Nino Mangione introduced a bill earlier this year to bring back the death penalty in Maryland.
I believe we need to send a strong signal to the most vicious of all criminals that if you take a life, that justice in
And he better have that same energy. He better have that same energy with his kin.
turn will demand your life.
The bill failed. Notably, New York State, where United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was killed, also does not have the death penalty. State Delegate Mangione released a statement on behalf of the family that says in part, "Our family is shocked and devastated by Luigi's arrest. We offer our prayers to the family of Brian Thompson, and we ask people to pray for all involved. We are devastated by the news." Luigi Mangione received an Ivy League education.
No disrespect, but how do we know this CEO was even a good person? No, like, I'm not saying he belonged in this situation, but some people are not good people, bro. I mean,
Graduating with a bachelor's and then master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania. That, coupled with his family wealth, afforded him advantages most don't have. To conclude his high school valedictorian speech, he said this.
It's been an incredible journey, and I simply can't imagine the last few years with any other group of guys.
A young man of promise then, an alleged killer now, whose journey into darkness has only just begun. Gary Tuckman, CNN, New York.
and let me see what else I could find. Hold on, y'all. All right, so apparently he had an outburst in court. See, my baby is off his meds. Like, don't be arresting him. No, for real.
Turning now to Pennsylvania, the suspect charged in the murder of United Healthcare CEO
No. Like, don't arrest him and put him in like jail. Like, he needs like medical help.
Brian Thompson was denied bail at a hearing today. Luigi Mangione is now fighting extradition to New York. During his appearance today, shackled and shouting, this is what he had to say as he entered the courthouse.
Clearly unjust and an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
Our Anna Schechter has been following the case and
Yo, what did he even say?
joins us now. Anna, it was a bit hard to hear all of that, but there were other things said and mannerisms and attitudes struck by this defendant to be charged. What did we learn today?
That's right, Major. It was quite a dramatic day in court today. You just saw him there shouting something about it being an insult to the intelligence of the American people. Then inside court, he was acting erratically. He raised his eyebrows, defiant, and at one point started speaking to the judge. His lawyer had to tell him to please be quiet. He was denied bail and was angry about that, and he is refusing to make this extradition easy. He is fighting it. And so what happens now is the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, who has already filed murder charges, he is now seeking a warrant from Governor Kathy Hochul of New York to
I like Kathy. Shout out Kathy. I like her.
facilitate this extradition. She has to file that with Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro. Now, there is a lot of momentum to get this done, so I imagine that she will do this quickly. But this could delay this for several weeks because paperwork has to be filed. I think prosecutors and investigators were hoping that he would not fight this and therefore facilitate a quicker transfer from Pennsylvania to New York so they can get this going and have this wheel continue to move because they do believe that they have the right man. They have the person who pulled the trigger.
And as you know better than most, there's been tremendous speculation about a possible motive. Let's get the speculation off the screen and move to what investigators believe they have learned that is provable thus far.
At this point, investigators are homing in on the 3-page handwritten document that they recovered on his person, in which he describes grievances against corporate America, particularly citing United Healthcare as one of the most profitable companies in the U.S. And he complained about companies like United Healthcare putting profit over patient care.
And you know what? To be honest, most of these companies do that. Most of these companies do that.
This jives with what they found at the crime scene. The bullets and the casings had the words deny, delay, depose. So very early on Wednesday, by about noon, they had recovered those bullets and they saw those words written there. So they knew that it had something to do with a grievance about how insurance companies handle claims. What's surprising here is you have an individual who had means. It was not that he was personally in some fight over trying to get coverage. It was more of his being inspired by the Unabomber, for example. He's written a positive review about Ted Kaczynski's book online, and he had a presence online kind of glorifying that kind of a worldview. And in that handwritten letter that he had on his person, essentially justifying his actions, he said something to the effect of, I'm the only one to take this seriously in an honest way, essentially trying to justify taking matters as he perceived them into his own.
Listen, y'all ever seen that movie John Clue? I said John Clue. Y'all ever seen that movie John Q? Now, don't get me wrong. We know it wasn't a real story, but at the same time, that movie, it opened up a lot of eyes because and look at that. And still to this day, we dealing with health insurance companies effing us over. We had it up to here. And so did my baby dad. And so did Luigi.
And prosecutors will say committed this heinous crime in cold blood.
It wasn't even that heinous. Let's just be real. You know what I mean? Like, she never seen Law and Order. That stuff is heinous. All he did was just pop that. You know what I mean?
And the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, made some comments last night in regards to this idea that there might have been some justification in the grievances expressed by this defendant. Let's take a listen.
In a civil society, we are all less safe when ideologues engage in vigilante justice.
No. Because at the end of the day, how we less safe if they only take out their problems and not nobody else? Like, you got some people that off they rockers and they start harming children. He had an issue with one person and he took it out on that one person. Am I saying he was right? I'm not saying he was right. So, you know what I'm saying?
In some dark corners, this killer is being hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's this morning.
No, that's the real person that got paid.
To that last point that the governor made, Anna, it's been something I've seen today that those who were at that McDonald's are fearful now because they're getting some sort of blowback for participating in the discovery of this defendant and assisting authorities.
That's right. The very people who, they are the reason why we are getting closer to buttoning this case up. They are the reason that the perpetrator was caught, and yet they themselves are receiving death threats. It's been this backward thing that's bubbled up online where, yes, you have a CEO with a very high compensation package. Also, yes, he was murdered in cold blood. And so what Shapiro was doing is tamping down on this sort of grotesque perversion of the facts as if it would be the victim's fault, which, of course, it wasn't.
I mean, yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm out.